I think it should just be widely accepted that Pete Wentz is bisexual. Like, that man is not straight. Okay, y'all. So, if you aren't on Twitter, or if you didn't see my TikTok, we are finally reading chapter 32 of Two's Company. This chapter literally came out the night before I had my wisdom teeth surgery. So I was like, I'm not gonna be able to read this for like a few days. But I'm better now. And like, this is where my wisdom tooth was taken, so like it's a little bit swollen, and I'm talking like this because of that. So like, I'm not back to like my normal way of talking, and it still hurts, but it's also like it's not so bad that like I can't talk. Hi, Danny. Oh my god, I forgot to text you. I forgot to DM you again. I am so bad at this. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, Danny, I was gonna DM you being like, hey, I'm going live tonight if you're available. But I guess you're here. Guys, everyone give it up for Danny. They are my mod. And they're literally always here. They've been here from the beginning. They're awesome. I'm so glad I didn't have a full day of classes today. Artie, where's your ice pack? I don't need an ice pack. I have this. No, but, like, I don't really use an ice pack. I only use the ice pack the first day. Like, I will, when I, like, go to bed, like, at night or something, I will hold an ice pack if it, like, really starts hurting, or I feel like it's getting really swollen. But it's chill. We're chilling. Okay, Reef has to mute the love, but I lurk like a pro. Bye, Reef. Damn. Reef can never watch these lives when they're happening. She's always watching them when they're recorded. I got us out of school 2-ish hours ago, then had to get the bus home. I hate buses, damn. Buses are rough. Buses are rough, but like, I was there. I've been there. I watched the YouTube, yeah. Reef is just keeping up with these through YouTube. That's not ice. Well. It's time for my sinister plan. Okay, guys. People are literally already starting a ship between Reef and me. And listen, I know I made that story post. Hi, Toss. Sorry, now there's a ship between Reef and me, and some people are planning on starting a love triangle. Like an RPF love triangle with Toss, Reef, and I. It is so funny. We are just having fun. Reef, you guys are scaring Reef a little, but like, it's fine. We keep shit platonic in real life, and we know that. So like, y'all might go crazy, but like, we're just like, you can never catch a break. I really can't. I'm not complaining though. I'm literally just having fun. I think this is so silly. So a poly relationship. Well, I don't know. I saw some tweets. Is Nick here? Toss lots of Reef. Yeah. Is Nick here? Because Nick was making those tweets being like, we need to start a love triangle story. Who said that? Okay, Reef. Okay. Okay, Queen, you go to your job. Anyways, polyship name Coral Art Sauce. What was the other one that I saw? I saw one on Twitter that someone left me. Artossi Reef, the OT3. My ZC. I wish I knew their like actual name, but their display name is ZC. So, well. Okay, we are reading, if anyone's asking what we're reading chapter 32 of two's company, but they want a crowd. Because I had my wisdom teeth surgery and I'm late to it. But I'm gonna read this, and then sometime. Oh, I am flying back to New York on Sunday, which is very fun. Reflux Artie, Coral Splatter. You guys are so funny. I am flying back to New York on Sunday, so the time zone will change. I will probably have to ask what stream time you guys prefer, because I do know that most of my audience is in the US, but I have people following from like a bunch of other countries. So I'm probably gonna need to ask what time works best, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. It's 12:30 in EST right now. Yeah. So like when I go live when I'm in New York, I'm either gonna do it like in the morning or like in the evening, because I feel like, or like, it really depends on my work schedule. My work schedule is very all over the place, so like I'll probably do some in the morning, some in the nights, but sometimes I have a lot of night shifts, so there'll probably be a lot of morning or afternoon lives. I'm not the ship being two AO3 authors and a reader. It's so funny. I'm literally Y/N. I'm literally Y/N. Reese's first RPF. That was exactly my reaction when people were starting Artie Sauce. I was like, oh my god, this is how my first RPF happens. It's so silly. It's 11:30 here in Cancun. Oh my god, there's people from everywhere. It's so cool. Artie's cheating on me. No. Why can't it just be Polly, y'all? Why can't it just be Polly? We'll figure it out. I'm not making the fix. You guys are making the fix. I'll let you guys do whatever. Anyways, y'all, again, I don't want to talk too much. This chapter is called A Breath of Air. And it's it's Zoe backstory. It seems like Zoe backstory, which is very exciting. But we do have a panic attack, trigger warning. Nothing that we haven't seen before, but just making that known in case y'all haven't read the chapter yet. Getting my voice ready. I'm gonna be really upset. I know I was like really laughing and stuff when I was making the announcement because I was like excited to get to it, but I think I'm gonna be upset. But I've also seen some tweets being like, oh, it has like happy parts to it, but I haven't been spoiled really. I know that I think Mystery appears as a character, and that's all I know. But I tried to steer clear of spoilers. Okay. It started real early for Zoe. She remembered the first time she felt it. That shift. 3rd grade. Zoe stood at her group table, tiny sneakers squeaking against the waxed floor, pigtails bouncing wildly with every giddy little hop. Her paintbrush dripped fat globs of blue onto the paper, onto the table, and probably onto her shoes too, but she didn't care. Her whole body buzzed like a soda can someone had shaken too hard. Zoe, Miss Taz said softly from across the room, voice the kind of adults use when they were trying not to be mad. Sweetheart, sit down. That's the 3rd time I've had to ask. Zoe froze mid-bounce, cheeks heating. Sorry, she squeaked before plopping into her seat so fast the chair screeched. Her friends around the table giggled immediately. Zoe, you're always moving around like a wiggle worm, Marley said, squishing her paintbrush against the paper until it made a messy blob. Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble again, Sam muttered, shaking his head like an old man in a tiny 3rd grader's body. Zoe giggled anyway, because laughing was easier than feeling embarrassed. My mommy says I got jitterbugs, she announced proudly, dabbing blue onto her messy clouds. I can't help it. Marley blinked, tilting her head. Jitterbugs? What's that? Is it contagious? Lilia. Lelia? Lilia. I guess that's how we read that name. Lilia squeaked, scooting her chair an inch away like Zoe had suddenly grown antenna. Zoe shook her head hard, messy pigtails swishing. No, silly. That's what the doctor told my mom, and she told me. It's not contagious. She stumbled over the word and stuck her tongue into the gap where her front tooth used to be, proud when she finally got it right. Sam leaned on his elbow, squinting at her like he was solving a puzzle. Are you jitterbugs the reason you shout out in class when it's not your turn? Where? Zoe hesitated, shoulders rising and falling. Maybe. I don't know. Is it the reason you're always loud? Marley asked next, tilting her head again like a curious little bird. Zoe blinked at her, confused. I'm not loud. Lilia nodded quickly, clutching her paintbrush like it was evidence. You kinda are. You never use your inside voice. Like when you told Miss Taz sorry earlier, you yelled it. Zoe frowned, tiny brow scrunching. Did I? They all nodded. And just like that, the fizzy, giddy feeling inside her dimmed a little. She ducked her head, suddenly aware of how small her voice wasn't, how still her body wasn't, and how much everyone else seemed to notice. For the rest of art time, she tried painting quieter. Girl, she's just like me. I always say that I'm a Zoe Rising because she is literally just like me. Like, we have the same problem. People always say that I'm too loud. I like have a friend who like constantly has to be like whenever I speak because I speak too and she's always like warning me and I'm like, I'm sorry, that's just my voice. I am Zoe. What is happening in the comments? I still don't know how to whisper. I'm glad that we're all together on this. Anyway, I love her. And she did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. She's also neurodivergent. And y'all are just annoying. It happened so much more after that. 6th grade. Zoe Park, you're up. Zoe jolted upright in her seat, practically bouncing as she grabbed her tri-fold cardboard and hurried to the front of the room. There were a few groans from the back, but she didn't notice, or maybe she pretended not to. She propped the board open with careful hands, beaming at the class. Okay, so for my animal research project, I chose turtles. The board had neat and structured, I guess the board was neat and structured, bullet points, fun facts, pictures she'd printed and glued on. But the second she started talking, it was like someone had pressed fast forward on her brain. Girl, she's just like me. She's just like me. I'm like, if all of Huntrix just combined, if they just combined, like all of them represent different facets of me, and it's kind of, I feel like I'm getting called out again. I felt called out so many times reading these fics. Okay. Turtles are reptiles, which means they're cold-blooded, and there are over 300 different species in the world. Isn't that crazy? Oh, and did you know some turtles can breathe through their butts in winter? Not all of them, though, but a few kids snickered, but Zoe didn't notice, too busy flipping to the next part of her board. See this little guy? She said, pointing proudly to a crookedly drawn turtle. This was Shelly. Well, actually Shelly 2, because Shelly 1 ran away when I was 5. Or maybe my cousin left the tank open, I don't know. Anyway, Shelly 2 was a red-eared slider, and I named him Shelly because I thought I was being clever, but the sharp sound of a throat clearing snapped her mid-sentence. She glanced up to see Mr. Harris giving her that polite but tired teacher look. "Straying a little, Miss Park," he said with a small sigh. Zoe blinked. "Oh, sorry. Sorry, I really like turtles." She gave a sheepish little grin, hoping it softened the interruption. She turned back to the board, rushing a little now. "Okay, so the red-eared slider's habitat is mostly in freshwater ponds and wait, did you know they can live up to 30 years in captivity? I thought that was so cool because I was gonna..." "All right, Zoe," Mr. Harris cut in again, a bit more firmly this time. "We'll move on to questions from the class." Zoe froze for half a second, then forced a bright smile and nodded quickly. "Oh, yeah, okay. Questions? Anyone?" She straightened her back, brushing her hands nervously over her jeans as her eyes scanned the classroom. Most of her classmates weren't even looking at her, heads bent low, scrolling through phones. A few were whispering to each other. One kid yawned loudly enough to make someone else laugh. When we had classes back in high school, we had to put our phones in like little shelves. I don't know what y'all would think about that, but like it seems like they have to do that. That's really annoying. Like I get if you have your phones during college, but like come on. That's so mean. Finally, Mr. Harris glanced toward the back. "Brian?" Brian didn't even try to hide his irritation. He slouched in his chair, one arm draped over the backrest lazily, and muttered just loud enough for everyone to hear. "Can you hurry up? You talk so much." There was a beat, and then a few scattered snickers. Someone whispered, "Seriously?" and another kid laughed under their breath. Zoe's smile faltered. She gripped the edges of her trifold tighter, her knuckles whitening. Oh, she didn't think she was talking that much. She didn't even realize she'd been rambling. Her cheeks burned hot as she ducked her head slightly, forcing a laugh she didn't feel. Yeah, sorry." Mr. Harris sighed again, glancing at his watch. "All right, let's let her finish. Just try to be a little quicker, Zoe." A little quicker, a little quieter, a little less. Zoe nodded mutely, swallowing the lump in her throat. Right, okay." She turned back to the board, her voice dropping into something softer, flatter. "So, yeah, red-eared sliders, freshwater ponds, they can live 30 years, sometimes." She finished the rest of her presentation without looking up once. And after that day, Zoe learned to make her fun facts shorter, learned to cut herself off before anyone else could. My dearest, darlingest girl. She deserves the world. She deserves so much better. That's a chapter break, so I'm just checking. I felt called out so much that I almost cried during school. No. So sad. I feel so bad for her because she is so me. She is so real. How'd a turtle run away? Asking the real questions. Toss portrayed it so well, though. Truth. My heart broke thinking of a tiny Zoe being put down like that. She's so precious. It's 6:51 over here and I'm alright tired, but I won't leave. Thank you. Y'all ever met a snapping turtle? They're fast as fuck, boy. Snapping turtle? Let me look it up, because now I'm curious. Snapping turtle. Whoa! Oh my god, this one looks so cool. It looks like a crocodile. Where do these guys live? Where do these guys live? Wait, let me... Snapping turtle. They're so cool. Oh my god. Look at that. Oh my god. That's a creature. That's the little... Whoa. They look like dinosaurs. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Of course it's in Florida. So many tabs. Don't even pay attention. Don't even pay attention to that. Oh my god. Yeah. I have a lot of tabs. Don't judge. Please don't judge. I open tabs and then I forget to close them. Okay, here's Two's Company. I'll close tabs for you. Are you happy? Accurate Zoe type stuff. She streamed too. I've had to carry one back to the pond from my house in a big bucket. That's crazy. Those ones look crazy. They look so cool though. Anyways, let's go back. Zoe didn't worry about it at first. She thought it was a phase. This thing people kept pointing out about her. That if she just tried harder, maybe one day she'd be calmer, quieter, easier to like. When she first started trying to keep to herself, it was hard. So hard. Because she still wanted to express herself, still wanted to talk, to laugh, to fill the silence with something. But she'd learned where that got her. This is literally what I talk about in therapy. I feel so called out. This is like, I literally had a therapy session where I explained this. Because people in my life were being annoying to me. Oh my god, you laugh too loud. Oh my god, people are gonna start looking. And I literally like started ranting and crying to my therapist about this. I feel so called out. Oh, baby. Okay. People didn't always like it. Some called her annoying. Too much. Zoe told herself she was fine with that. Sometimes she even believed it. But it always stung worse when someone pretended to care, pretended to like her, pretended she was normal. Psst! Hey, Zoe, right? She blinked and turned in her seat. A girl she didn't know that well was leaning forward, her voice a soft whisper. Yeah? Zoe whispered back. The girl nodded toward the front of the class. Do you see Mrs. B's ring? That one on her left hand? Zoe followed her gaze, spotting the shiny silver band glinting under the classroom lights. Yeah, it's really pretty. The girl smiled faintly. Right? I was just wondering where she got it and like, what size is it? 'Cause I want one just like that when I get proposed to. Zoe's lips curled into a grin. Oh, yeah, I can totally ask. And she meant it. It felt good to be included, even for something small. I already know what's coming. She straightened up and oh my god. She straightened up and raised her hand high. Mrs. B? The teacher looked up from her grading pile, adjusting her glasses slowly. That's what your hand is for, Zoe, she said dryly. Zoe winced a little, flashing a sheepish smile. Right, habit. Sorry. Mrs. B waited for her to go on. Yes, what is it? Your ring. Where'd you get it from? And, what size is it? Mrs. B paused for only a moment before her expression softened into something more animated. Oh, this? Well, since you want to know, that was all it took. Mrs. B launched into a full story about how her husband picked it out, the jeweler they went to, the way she dropped hints without making it obvious, and even a tangent about their honeymoon plans years ago. Zoe couldn't help herself. She kept asking little questions, laughing at Mrs. B's jokes, and nodding along. And for once, she didn't feel self-conscious, because for once, she was helping. she was having a conversation without something weird or too loud or off topic. She'd done good, or so she thought. Later that day, as she passed the group of girls near the lockers, she heard her name and slowed instinctively. I told her to ask about the ring. The same girl from before was giggling. She actually did. And Mrs. B went off for like 10 minutes. We didn't have to do the last set of math problems. Zoe stopped mid-step. Oh my god, another girl laughed. That's genius. She never shuts up. You can get her to stall anything. Exactly, the first one said, smirking. She's like a cheat code or something. Their voices blurred after that. Zoe just stood there, frozen, her hands tightening around the straps of her backpack. A little cheat code. A little button to press when they didn't want to work. She thought she'd been talking to someone. She thought she'd been making a friend. Her chest felt tight, but she forced herself to keep walking, her sneakers squeaking faintly against the linoleum floor. By the time she rounded the corner, she'd already decided something. Next time, she'd try harder, talk less, be less. Oh my god. Oh, she's so precious. We need to save her. We need to save her. Like, oh my god, Azura. Oh my god, Azura, what time is it there? Oh no. No, I do hate people like that. And my high school was filled with people like that. Like, it's so funny because I feel like whenever my friends from like college go back home, they always meet up with their high school friends. And I just have no inkling to do so. Like, I have like 2 friends that I always talk to. But other than that, I'm not interested to talk to any of those people. Not that all those people were bad, but like, whatever. It's 12:58 a.m. I mean, yeah, I guess Cheeky is also, yeah, in that same time zone, yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Same. Don't make eye contact. They can smell fear. That's how I'm going through college. No. That's so... Social situations are so hard. I'm like... Again, this is what I talk about in therapy. Like, this is kind of crazy. What are you reading? I'm reading Two's Company, chapter 32. Two's Company, but they want a crowd. This is why I haven't talked with any classmates for like 3 full years. Yeah. I mean, it's not that bad right now, Azura. I'm so glad I have 2 friends to enjoy my Wednesday. Exactly. You get out of high school. Here's my thing about college. It might not be the same for everyone. You either like get out of high school and go to college, or you get out of college and like go into the real world and you like find people who actually enjoy your company. And it's like, oh my god, this is crazy that people like just want to hear me talk. Like just wanna like listen to me while I rant about like my passions. It's kind of crazy. How are you feeling? I'm good. The break hurt less because I could relate to it. Real. Yeah, Saki, I'm good. I had my wisdom teeth taken out, but and that's why I'm like not talking how I usually talk, but like I'm fine. I'm good. I'm the only girl in a class full of boys, electrical engineering, and I got lucky because they're nice. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Bruh, Brick is exposing me. No, real. This is very common Polytrix fanfiction experience for me. Like, there hasn't been... I don't think there has been a single fanfiction where I haven't felt called out. Did you also drool in Mira's hand? I wish I had a Mira to drool into the hand of. No, but I didn't drool. I didn't do all of them. I only did one side, and I didn't get like general anesthesia. So I wasn't high. I was like awake through the operation and I was awake when I got out. So like I wasn't loopy or anything. Cheeky need to wake up right now. She's waiting for your line. I think Cheeky just was here. Oh man. It's okay, Toss got ya. Feeling the vibrators. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna keep going because I get distracted too easily. She decided then and there that from this point on, she just wouldn't talk anymore. That's not the way to go. That's not the way to go. They're trying to... Why did I cover up the color stuck inside my head? Zoe! Zoe! Okay. Simple. Because if she thought about it, every single one of her problems came from talking. Every single sentence is like a stab to the chest. People didn't like it when she talked too much. People made fun of her when she said something weird. People used her voice when it was convenient and mocked her for it later. So fine, solution found. No voice, no problems. You won't talk anymore. No more. Zoe whispered to her reflection, pointing at herself like she was scolding a misbehaving pet. Her brows furrowed in mock seriousness, lips twitching despite herself. Goodbye, voice, she muttered solemnly. I'll miss you. And with that, she grabbed a roll of duct tape off her desk, ripped off a piece, and slapped it firmly over her mouth. She stared at herself in the mirror. Perfect. Now she really wouldn't. Oh my god. We need to save her. We need to save her so bad. Dinner was chaos. It always was, with 6 kids crammed around one table. 6 kids is crazy. I'm one of 3 kids, and that's already chaotic enough. Oh my god. Zoe had 4 brothers, 2 sisters, and exactly 0 personal space. Every meal sounded like a crowded marketplace. Overlapping stories, forks clattering, random yelling about someone stealing fries, and at least one person storming off by dessert. Tonight was no different. She slipped into her seat and stared down at the plate her mom had set out for her. Everyone else was halfway through their own food, arguing about something she didn't bother catching. Okay, new problem. How was she supposed to eat with duct tape on her mouth? Girl! She let out a sigh, or tried to, anyway. It came out muffled and weird, like she'd smothered herself halfway through. She blinked and quickly remembered to breathe through her nose before she passed out in front of her rice. Maybe she didn't think this plan all the way through. It didn't take long for someone to notice. Her older sister, Zira, glanced up from her phone. I love these names, by the way. Glanced up from her phone, squinting at her. I was wondering why you haven't gone into your usual rant about whatever random thing you're obsessed with this week. She leaned closer, eyebrows knitting. But now I see why. Zoe, why do you have duct tape on your mouth? From a few seats down, her younger brother Zion piped up with a mouthful of rice. Yeah, Zoe, why do you have tape on your face? Are you broken or something? That, of course, got the rest of the table's attention. 6 pairs of eyes turned toward her at once. And suddenly, she was very aware of how loud the chewing and talking had stopped. Perfect. This was exactly why she brought props. Without a word, she reached under the table and dramatically pulled out her secret weapon, a small dry erase board and black marker. She uncapped the pen with flair, scribbled quickly, and held up the board like a protest sign. I'm not talking anymore. This is literally me when I'm on voice rest. And it drives my family crazy whenever I go on vocal rest. Because, like, especially, like, a few years ago, I would, like, have to go on vocal rest a lot. And it drove my family crazy. They were like, you can still talk, you can still no. It's so hard to explain. Anyways, that's unrelated. Okay. Her older brother Zayden blinked at her slowly. Chopsticks paused midair. Why do you make my life harder on purpose? Before Zoe could respond, not that she could, their younger sister, Zella, gasped, suddenly perking up. Ooh, if you're not talking anymore, that means I get dibs on the last ice cream and you can't call it, right? Zoe's eyes went wide behind the tape as she whipped her hand towards Zella, letting out a strangled, muffled groan. Zella smirked smugly. I'll take that as a yes. Their mom finally sighed from the kitchen counter, pinching the bridge of her nose. Zoe, take that tape off and eat your food before it sticks to your lips. Zoe let out another muffled groan, but obeyed, ripping the tape off with a hiss. So much for silent protest. It was worth a try, though. Later that night, she sat cross-legged at her tiny desk, sketching quietly in her notebook. Her room was unusually calm. Zira had gone downstairs, leaving Zoe blissfully alone for once. She didn't even notice the soft knock until the door creaked open. How's my favorite little star doing? Her mom's warm voice floated in as she stepped inside. Normally, Zoe would have jumped at the chance to make some dumb pun like twinkling, duh, or something equally ridiculous to get her mom to laugh. But tonight, she just hummed softly, head bent over her sketchbook. Her mom frowned faintly, walking closer and resting her hands gently on the back of Zoe's chair. Feeling a little dim today? She asked softly. Zoe nodded without looking up, her pencil dragging across the page in quick, messy strokes. Does this have anything to do with earlier? The whole duct tape thing? Zoe froze, her pencil halting mid-line. Her grip tightened around it before she gave a tiny, reluctant nod. Can I ask why, sweetheart? Zoe bit down on her lip hard enough to sting, debating how much to say. She stared at her drawing, a little doodle of a cartoon girl with no mouth, and suddenly her throat felt heavy. Finally, she whispered, all my problems are from talking. Her mom blinked, confusion knitting her brow, but she stayed quiet and patient, letting Zoe keep going. People, Zoe hesitated, voice trembling. People say I talk too much, or that I'm annoying, or just a lot to be around. Her lip wobbled, and she gripped her pen like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. I don't want to be a lot, Mom. I want to be liked. Her voice cracked on the last word, tears welling despite how hard she tried to blink them back. There it was, the thing she'd been holding in for years. She wanted to be enough without feeling like too much. Her mom crouched down beside her chair, gently brushing Zoe's bangs out of her face. Oh, baby, she whispered, pulling her into a soft hug. Whoever made you feel like that, they don't know what they're talking about. You are a lot, but that's the best thing about you. Zoe sniffled into her mom's shoulder shaking. It doesn't feel like it. I know it doesn't. Her mom kissed her temple. But one day, you'll find people who love every bit of you, loud and all. That's what I'm saying. We love some mom wisdom. That's what I'm saying. Oh, she's so... I want to hug her. I want to hug her so bad. Justice for baby Zoe. Ruby and Mira. Ooh, spoiler alert. I always say I'd rather like myself than be liked by everyone. Period. I often joke that I have a Katara complex because Katara has that thing where she is like she needs to be liked by everyone, and that's sometimes like what I feel. But I've started accepting that not everyone is going to like me. And that's okay. That's okay. People don't click together sometimes. That's just how it works. I'm so confused. I just joined. I'm sorry. We are reading Two's Company, but They Want a Crowd, chapter 32. And they're being mean to baby Zoe because she talks a lot. Bye, my brain lagged and I thought you said gotcha. No, I mean Katara from The Last Airbender. Avatar The Last Airbender. TBH, I still have a hard time trying not to please everyone. It's like a factory setting to me. Yeah. Being liked is so overrated. Dude, preach. The last time we've seen him was in chapters 17. Yeah, it was a long time ago when we saw Zoe's family, but they seem to be nice. At least her mom is. I don't know if her dad is in the picture. Or if Toss pulled a demo and decided to make him abusive. Toss, if you're still here, I really enjoyed the little Twitter beef you had with Demo. I think it was so funny. Polytrix ex-authors going at each other's throats. It was so funny. Oh. I love fake beef. It's great. It's great entertainment. Anyways, let's go back. Did you believe her when she said that? He asked softly. Zoe blinked at him, like the question had to swim its way through a fog before reaching her. Bobby. Right, that was his name. Okay, we have Bobby! We have Bobby in the picture! Thank God! Oh my God, we have a Bobby. We have a Bobby. Let's go! He was a kind man, older, maybe in his 30s. He kind of reminded her of one of her uncles back in Cali. The one who used to sneak her extra candy after dinner when her mom wasn't looking. She'd been coming here for a couple of days now. Just a few sessions, nothing crazy, but it was helping. In small, quiet ways. Toss, did you also make Bobby a therapist? Did you also make Bobby a therapist? Like unclogging a drain drip by drip. Talking about things she'd packed away so deep she almost forgot they were there. Her pencil scratched softly against the paper in her lap. Bobby had handed it to her earlier when she admitted she felt weird just sitting here doing nothing while she talked about herself. She said drawing helped, so he gave her a clipboard, a blank sheet, and permission to fill the silence however she wanted. That's so good. That's such a good technique. I think stole it from Sal. Yeah, I figured this is why I can't read If It's Nice, Do It Thrice on live, like because I started with Two's Company and I was like, If It's Nice, Do It Thrice will feel too similar because they're both college AU, they're both established. Zomira and Rumi joins in later. They have they have their differences, but if I read them both on live, my brain would just be so, I would start mixing them up so much. I already mix up so many fanfics. If I did that, that's why I do that offline. But I love If It's Nice, Do It Thrice. Loki, they mix in my head these days. Yeah. I like them both. I like them both, but I'm keeping Two's Company for the lives, and I'm reading If It's Nice, Do It Thrice myself. So if you haven't read it, go check it out. Cell is awesome. But it's, very similar premises, so I'm not mixing them up over here. Okay. The paper was already a mess of tiny doodles, spirals, and little turtles, a lopsided sun, and, near the corner, a drawing of a younger version of herself, holding hands with an older one. That's so sweet! She stared at the sketch for a moment before mumbling. At first, yeah, I did. Bobby hummed, letting her go at her own pace. I kept waiting, Zoe continued, shading softly around the smaller version of herself. For that person, or, well, people she said would love all of me, you know? Like, actually love me as I am. Her voice dipped, words slowing like they were harder to fish out. But a couple of years went by, and I still didn't find anyone. Not really. So I started to stop. She blew out a shaky breath, almost like it might steady her. Bobby nodded, jotting something down on his pad before looking back at her. His voice stayed warm, careful. When you said you started to stop, Zoe, what does that mean for you? I don't know. I don't know how to do a Bobby voice. I'm just doing a voice. Zoe twirled the pencil in her fingers, staring at the point until her vision blurred. I put on a mask. Her lips tugged into the ghost of a smile that didn't reach her eyes. I became less of myself. Girl. I love neurodivergent Zoe. Zoe is... I know, like, everyone does say that Zoe has ADHD. I think the interpretation that Zoe also has autism is great. I think Zoe is very ADHD. And she's my little sweetheart. I love her so much. I said this in my first lives, but like, if you see me go, I love her so much about all the girls, that's normal. I love them all a lot. ADHD baby. Zoe is on all spectrums, period. And she rules. She rules for it. When Zoe started high school, she realized something. If she kept the loud, messy, too much parts of herself locked away and only showed the easy, shiny pieces, people liked her more. And it worked. She learned quickly how to mold herself into what other people wanted. She wasn't their annoying, loud Zoe anymore. She was the fun one, the reliable one, the one who remembered birthdays, brought snacks, laughed at the right jokes, stayed up late helping with homework she didn't even understand. She figured out that if she was always there for people, always, they kept her around. They smiled wider when she walked up, pulled her into conversations, saved her seats. She got invited to places. It was intoxicating, like drinking sunlight after being cold for so long. People actually liked her. For the first time, she had friends, real ones, or at least that's what she told herself. It was everything she thought she'd ever wanted, but it came with a price. Little by little, Zoe started putting everyone else's needs above her own, skipping lunch to comfort a friend crying in the bathroom, canceling plans she'd been looking forward to because someone else needed her, staying up until 3 a.m., helping a classmate finish a project she wasn't even part of. She told herself it was fine, that this was what friendship was, that this was how you earned love. The truth? This was how it really started. Zoe sat hunched over her notebook, headphones buzzing faintly with music. She was half writing notes, half doodling in the margins, letting herself drift a little. She didn't notice the shadow hovering beside her desk until someone tapped her shoulder. She flinched slightly and pulled her headphones down, blinking up at the guy standing there. Yeah? Zoe, right? He asked, smiling like he already knew the answer. She nodded slowly, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Cool headphones, he said, pointing to them. Sony, right? They're the best. Zoe glanced down at them and smiled, her thumb brushing over one of the stickers on the side. She has little stickers on her headphones. Of course she does. Oh my god. I should get stickers on my headphones. The shape is a bit weird. I need to find the right size stickers. Yeah, way better immersion than the other ones I've tried. His finger tapped one of the stickers, the little cartoon turtles peeking out of a sewer lid. TMNT? You watch? Let's go! That made Zoe light up before she could stop herself. She sat up straighter, grin stretching wide. Yeah, I've been a fan since I was a kid. It's so good. She stopped mid ramble, catching herself. Don't get too excited. Don't be weird. She cleared her throat, forcing her smile into something softer, more casual. Yeah, awesome show. He tilted his head, studying her with a small smirk. Favorite series? Let me guess. 2012, right? Zoe chuckled, shaking her head. Close, but nah, it's actually the 1987 one. She hesitated, then added with a playful shrug. Might be a little biased though. Their April O'Neil kinda owns my heart. He grinned and held out a fist. I like the way you think. Zoe bumped his fist, trying not to look too pleased, but honestly, this was probably the best conversation she'd had all day. I'm guessing this is mystery from what I've seen on Twitter. And if it is, this is very sweet. This is very sweet. She cleared her throat, tucking her headphones fully off her ears. So, did you need something? He rubbed the back of his neck, glancing around like he was embarrassed. Yeah, actually, I heard you're good at chemistry. Zoe blinked, caught off guard, then nodded. Yeah, it's kind of my thing. Why? He hesitated, then muttered sheepishly. I was wondering if you could maybe do mine. I've got a couple assignments piling up and I'm kind of drowning. Her pencil stilled in her hand. Oh, she started to nod automatically, because that's what she always did. But then she remembered the mountain of assignments waiting for her at home. She'd gotten sick earlier this week and had fallen way behind. I mean, normally I would, she started carefully. But I've actually got a ton of stuff due for another class, so I don't think I can. Oh, come on, he interrupted, leaning on her desk a little. I swear it's just a few quick ones. Okay, now I'm doubting if this is mystery because people were saying that like he was sweet. Or maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to I'm just making theories. It's not. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, because from what I've seen, they like Zoe and Mystery are like good friends in this chapter. From what I've seen on Twitter, again, I didn't spoil myself much. Yeah, this kind of seems like a jerk. Never mind me saying they seemed cute. Nope. They always get you. They always get you like that. Okay. Zoe chewed the inside of her cheek, staring at the open page in front of her. I know, but I already have a lot on my plate. He clasped his hands together in mock prayer, leaning closer. I'll get you snacks from the vending machine. Please, just this once. She hesitated, guilt prickling up her spine. He was being nice, and he'd been talking to her about TMNT, making her feel noticed. If she said no now, would he think she was rude? Or worse, annoying? Her throat felt tight as she sighed. I guess I could. His face lit up instantly. Thank you. Seriously, you're the best, Zoe. The words hit harder than she expected. Her cheeks warmed, and she ducked her head, smiling shyly. It's nothing, really. He hesitated, then added casually. Hey, is it cool if I tell other people you're good at this stuff? Like, they might need help too. What is your deal? What is your fucking deal? Oh my god, I hate this asshole. Never mind what I said earlier. This dude guilt tripping her! Oh my god! I hate this asshole. Anyways, don't mind me saying they were being sweet. They were just nerding out. Sometimes bad people do that too. Oh. Damn. Like, what is your deal? Like, oh my god, can I tell people about this? Oh my god, they might need help too. Bruh, leave her alone. Leave her the fuck alone. What is your deal? Oh my god. Zoe froze for half a second, something uneasy twisting in her chest. But his smile was bright, expectant, and her no stuck somewhere in her throat. Sure, she said finally, forcing another small smile. The cycle kept going. Zoe didn't even notice when it started. At first, it felt harmless, helping people with homework, lending notes, doing favors. But every time she said yes when she wanted to say no, a little piece of herself chipped away. It wasn't just about schoolwork anymore. It became everything. After a while, people didn't even ask what she wanted. They just assumed. Assumed she was fine. Assumed she was okay with whatever they decided. Oh my god. Toss! Toss, are you snooping in on my therapy? Are you eavesdropping on my therapy appointments? This is crazy. This is wild. I have to join a meeting for work. Still lurking though. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, Christina. Anyways, where did I leave? Oh my god. Assume she didn't mind being dragged along. She thought back to sophomore year, to a weekend at the mall. That dreadful day. It was supposed to be fun. She'd been invited to hang out with a group of girls from her chemistry class. And for once, she'd actually said yes. Maybe, she thought, if she tried harder, she could fit in. No, because I had this idea in my head when I was in high school that I could maybe like make my way into like the group of popular kids. It doesn't work. Guys, if you're the weirdo, stay the weirdo. If you're the weirdo, stay the weirdo. You will find people who like you for that. Do not sacrifice yourself for the popular kids. Hi, Rose. I said as Rose as well. Hi, Rose. I still haven't started your fic. I have to start. I have to start, but I had another fic that I started that's like so long. I need to start though. I have so much on my list. I avoided the popular girls like a plague. See, that's the mindset. That's the mindset we need. Okay. Okay. The memory still sat sharp in her chest. She remembered walking behind them, cup of pretzel bites in hand, and the group clustered together in front of a bright storefront. Zoe, one of the girls, Gina maybe, called over her shoulder, gesturing excitedly. We're going to that store next. Wanna come? Zoe glanced up at the sign. A lingerie store. The glossy kind with pink lettering, soft lights, and lacy displays in the windows. Oopsie. Oh. Sorry, my mom just messaged me. Give me a second. My mom just asked me if I want a drink. Coming right back. Yes. Sorry. I got distracted. Okay, her steps faltered. Were they even old enough to be going in there? She wasn't sure. Either way, her stomach turned at the idea of walking in. She shook her head slowly, holding her pretzel cup closer. I'm good. I'll wait out here. Another girl, Soyeon, twisted around and frowned. Again? Zoe blinked. Again? Soyeon sighed dramatically, tossing her hair over her shoulder. Come on, Zoe. You do know you can buy stuff too, right? You don't just have to stand there and look awkward. Zoe forced a small laugh, rolling her eyes like it didn't sting. I know, that store's not really my thing. That should have been the end of it. But of course, it wasn't. Mina, the loudest one in the group, scoffed and crossed her arms. Why are we even wasting time on her? You can see she doesn't have the same style as us. She only wears boy clothes. So, what's your problem? I want to fight these girls so bad. It's okay, they're in high school. They're in high school, I remind myself. They're in high school. You are an adult. You are an adult and they are children. Oh my god. I hate Mean Girls so bad. The words landed heavier than they had any right to. Boy clothes? Zoe's gaze dropped to herself instinctively. Her favorite yellow hoodie, a pair of faded denim jorts, white sneakers. Casual, comfortable, hers. She wouldn't have called them boy clothes, but maybe they kind of were. Sure, she wore skirts sometimes, crop tops too when she felt like it, but she wasn't always in the mood for that. Sometimes she just wanted comfort over style. Girl, she's so real. Sometimes she didn't feel like trying so hard, but maybe she should try harder. No, incorrect. Bzz. Buzzer sound. Bzz. No. Do not change yourself to fit in with the Mean Girls. Zoe swallowed thickly, staring down at her pretzel bites. The buttery smell made her stomach twist, suddenly heavy. She didn't feel hungry anymore. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't remember the voices. Oh my god, Gina whispered to Mina, but loud enough for Zoe to hear. Look at what you did. You made her sad. Mina turned, her voice quick and defensive. What? I was just saying. Zoe, you know I'm not being mean, right? It's just you like wearing that stuff all the time. I was just pointing it out. That's what girls do. No hard feelings, right? Pew, pew, pew. Anyway, Zoe's mouth went dry. Something inside her wanted to say, actually, yeah, that was mean. Or even just, I like what I wear. But the words got stuck somewhere behind her ribs, where they always did. So instead, an awkward chuckle slipped out. Automatic, practiced. She nodded quickly, like she always did. Yeah, no hard feelings. Mina grinned smugly and turned back to the group. See? She's fine. Now, can we please go inside already? The others laughed and followed her into the store, their voices spilling into the air before disappearing behind the soft pink doors. Zoe just stood there in the middle of the mall walkway, fingers tight around her cup of pretzel bites. She stared at the glossy store window, at the mannequins in lace and satin, at her reflection of herself faintly staring back. The yellow hoodie suddenly looked wrong. She looked wrong. Can we call this queerphobia? Like at this point, can we just call this homophobia? Like just asking. While Zoe waited, her mind wandered to the one store she'd actually been looking forward to all day. GameStop. She'd seen online that they were finally doing an early release sale for Mythrealms: Lost Horizons, the game she'd been obsessively waiting for since the teaser dropped over a year ago. Every month, she'd watch the updates religiously, checking forums, skimming leaks, watching countdown trailers, and now it was finally here. She refreshed the site on her phone, and her stomach dropped when she saw the tiny red banner. Only 12 copies left. 12! Once those were gone, she'd either have to fork over for the overpriced deluxe edition, or, worse, wait another 2 or 3 months for a random sale to make it even remotely affordable. Nope, not happening. She had to get it today. I love her. She rules. Zoe opened the mall map, zooming in with jittery fingers until she found the store. It was upstairs, the opposite side of where she was standing. So close. She glanced back at the lingerie store the girls had disappeared into and sighed. If she left now and they decided to leave without her, she'd be stranded. No ride, no way home. Just a few minutes, she told herself. They'll be out soon. They'll be out soon. She bounced on her heels impatiently, refreshing the GameStop page again. 12-10. Zoe swore under her breath. Can they be any slower? She bit her lip, thumb hovering anxiously over the refresh button, her foot tapping so fast it echoed faintly on the tile floor. A few agonizing minutes later, laughter erupted behind her. The girls came strolling out of the store, chatting like they didn't just spend 30 minutes browsing overpriced lace. Zoe let out a sharp, relieved breath and hurried toward them. Guys, can we go to GameStop real quick? Please? They're doing an early release and there's only a few copies left. Soyeon blinked at her, chewing her gum lazily. Yeah, sure, but we have to stop at another store first. Gina's online order is ready for pickup. Zoe's stomach sank. She glanced toward her phone again. 10 had dropped to 7. Her chest tightened. Can I just meet you guys there? She blurted. I really need to get this before it sells out. This is really important to me. Mina, arms crossed, raised a brow. We're leaving soon, and we don't know how long you'll be gone. That's kind of risky, don't you think? Zoe exhaled hard through her nose, trying not to snap. Okay, can I at least get one of your numbers? That way, if you're about to leave, you can let me know. The 3 girls exchanged looks, the kind where you know something unspoken's passing between them. Our phones are dead, Gina said casually, brushing at her hair. Zoe stared. All of them? Mm-hmm, Mina said, already looking bored. Perfect. Absolute perfect luck. Okay, Soyeon chirped suddenly, giving her a bright smile. We'll just grab Gina's purse real quick, then we can go. Promise. Zoe forced a smile back, even though her jaw was tight. Cool, thanks. They started walking, if you could even call it walking. To Zoe, it felt like watching snails migrate through molasses. There was zero urgency in their steps, no matter how much she silently willed them to pick up the pace. By the time they finally reached the accessories boutique, Zoe was practically vibrating out of her hoodie. Gina sauntered up to the counter to retrieve her purse, all soft giggles and twirling hair as she leaned against the display. Zoe glanced back at her phone again. 7-5. Her throat went dry. Tap, tap, tap. Her sneaker bounced restlessly against the polished floor as she tried to tune out Gina's overly flirty laugh at something the cashier said. Are you kidding me right now? Zoe muttered under her breath, dragging her hands down her face. Every second felt like sand spilling out of an hourglass. The game she'd waited a year for was slipping through her fingers, and she couldn't do a damn thing about it. Finally, Gina got her purse. It took her forever, after all the flirting, all the giggling, all the pretending not to understand the clerk's questions just so she could toss her hair one more time, but she finally had the stupid purse. Come on, it's this way. Gina hooked her arm through Zoe's like they were best friends, like she hadn't just made her wait what felt like an entire century, and started walking at a leisurely pace. Zoe muttered something under her breath and picked up her speed, practically speed walking ahead of the group. Every second she lost was another chance she wouldn't get the game. Her heart was thudding in her ears, and she glanced down at the website on her phone. 5-3. Her stomach dropped. A strangled sound left her throat, and she broke into a jog, darting up the stairs to the second floor. Her legs burned, but she didn't care. She needed this. After following the game's updates for over a year, after watching every single monthly trailer and countdown post, she deserved this. She spotted the bright red GameStop sign and finally let out a shaky breath of relief. Almost there. Zoe sprinted the last few feet, nearly bumping into someone as she shoved open the door and darted straight to the front desk. Hi! Please tell me. She barely had the breath to finish. You guys still have copies of Myth Realm's Lost Horizons? The guy behind the counter glanced at her apologetically, shaking his head. Her breath stalled. What? Sorry, the person you just passed on your way in. They bought the last one. Zoe stared at him for a beat, completely frozen. Oh. Her voice came out so small she almost didn't recognize it. I understand. Except she didn't. Not even a little bit. The game was gone, just like that. Months of waiting, refreshing pre-order pages, counting down days, all wasted. She turned and walked out of the store, her legs moving on autopilot while her brain lagged behind, still processing what had just happened. Sorry. The three girls were waiting outside, slightly out of breath from trying to keep up. Mina immediately scoffed. Well, did you get it? You made us walk all the way over here. Zoe stopped in front of them, her mask slipping without her permission. Her voice cracked when she spoke. No, I didn't get it. They all blinked at her, startled by the tone. Zoe dragged a hand down her face, feeling the frustration bubbling up inside her like soda about to spill over. If you guys would have just hurried up, maybe I could have gotten it. Gina immediately cut in with a sharp scoff. Whoa, okay. So now you're blaming us because you didn't get your stupid game? Yes! Zoe snapped before she could stop herself. If you weren't flirting with the employee and actually just grabbed your bag, we could have been here earlier. And you guys were walking like snails. I told you how important this was to me. Soyeon folded her arms, looking unimpressed. If it was that important, maybe you should have just gone by yourself. Zoe sputtered, tears stinging the corners of her eyes. I was going to, but you said you were leaving right after, and you didn't know how long you'd be, and... Her voice cracked again, sharper this time. And then somehow all your phones were magically dead at the same time? Mina rolled her eyes. And now she's blaming us for our dead phones. Cute. I'm not... Zoe started, but stopped when she caught their expressions. The way they were all looking at her. Not like a friend. Not like someone they cared about. Like she was a stranger. Like she was weird. Annoying. The thought lodged itself deep inside her chest, like a splinter, and suddenly it was hard to breathe. Her vision blurred, her throat tightening. Forget it, she choked out, forcing the mask back on with trembling hands. It's done. I'm sorry. Gina leaned in close to Soyeon and whispered, not quietly enough, and now she's crying. Not our fault, Soyeon muttered back. Zoe swallowed hard, keeping her head down so they wouldn't see the tears slipping out anyway. But she could feel them looking at her, pity mixed with irritation, and it made her stomach twist. She couldn't do this, couldn't stand there while they stared at her like that. Without another word, Zoe shoved past them, ignoring the way her shoulder brushed against Gina's and the soft, irritated "ugh" she got in response. She didn't care. She couldn't care, because if she stayed there one more second, she was going to fall apart in front of them. Her footsteps felt uneven and shaky as she wove through the mall crowd, following the blurry restroom sign like it was some kind of lifeline. By the time she stumbled inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed loudly overhead, stabbing straight into her skull. Everything felt too bright, too sharp, too much. Zoe ducked into the farthest stall, slammed the lock into place, and pressed her back against the cold metal door like it could hold her together. Her breaths came fast and shallow, ragged little bursts that didn't feel like enough. She tried to inhale deeper, counting in her head like she'd seen on some dumb video once. 1, 2, 3. But her lungs wouldn't cooperate. It felt like they'd shrunk to half their size, like no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't get enough air. Now they probably hate you. Her chest squeezed painfully, like invisible hands were clawing at her ribs. A broken, choked sound slipped past her lips before she even realized it, raw and humiliating. She slid down the door until she hit the cold tile floor, curling in on herself instinctively. You were too much again. Always too much. Her vision blurred as tears spilled fast and hot, streaking down her cheeks. She scrubbed at them with shaking hands, but it only made everything worse, her skin stinging under her fingertips. If she'd just kept it in, if she'd laughed when they laughed, swallowed the frustration, pretended it didn't bother her, if she'd stayed easygoing and fun like she was supposed to be, they'd still be here. They'd still want her here. They'd still be her friends. No, that's not true. That's not true. Those were real friends. Instead, she'd ruined it. Again. Zoe clenched her fists against her knees, her nails biting down the denim as she tried to focus on something, anything solid. But her thoughts were spiraling, her body refusing to listen. She squeezed her eyes shut and tried again, forcing the words out in a shaky whisper, like saying them would make them true. In, out, in, out. But the air just wouldn't come right. Hey! Yay! Thank you! Thank you! I got a drink. Sorry. Ooh. Okay, where am I? The air just wouldn't come right. Every inhale stuttered halfway. Every exhale clipped and shallow. Her chest burned. Her throat burned. Her whole body felt trapped in some invisible vise. Her ears rang, high-pitched and constant, muffling the faint rush of faucets and distant chatter outside the stall. Everything around her felt far away, like she was underwater. Ground yourself, her mind screamed, desperate. She tried to name things she could feel, the cold tile under her shoes, the rough seam of her jeans beneath her fingertips, but it all blurred together, slippery and untouchable. I'm sorry, she gasped, her voice cracking. The words fell out broken, barely audible over her frantic breathing. Her chest hitched violently as she folded forward, forehead pressed to her knees. Please, I'm sorry. She didn't even know who she was apologizing to. Them? Herself? Everyone? Nothing helped. Nothing stopped it. Her heart thudded painfully, loud and wild, like it was trying to break free from her ribs. Her whole body trembled as if she were freezing, even though sweat clung damp from her ribs. Her whole body trembled as if she were freezing, even though sweat clung damp to the endless. But eventually, slowly, painfully, oh, did I freeze? I think we're back. Anyway. The vise around her lungs loosened. Her breaths still came uneven and shaky, turning into hiccuping sobs instead of ragged gulps of air. Her throat was raw. Her limbs ached from curling so tightly into herself. Her head throbbed with every pulse, a dull, pounding reminder of how hard and how long she'd cried. And for the first time, she realized how terrifying it was to lose control like that, how small it made her feel, how alone. She stayed like that for a while, forehead still pressed to her knees, until the bathroom grew quiet again. Finally, with trembling fingers, she pulled out her phone. There was a notification, a new text from an unknown number. For a second, hope flickered. Maybe they were looking for her. Maybe they realized she wasn't with them and wanted to make sure she was okay. She unlocked the screen. Plus 561-842-5810. We couldn't find you and met up with another friend who needed a ride, so I hope you understand. Find a way home. Sorry, lols. Oh my god, go to hell. Zoe just stared at the message, reading it once, then twice, then a third time, as if the words might magically change if she looked hard enough. But they didn't. The tears came back, sharper this time, like someone had dug their fingers into an open wound. She bit down hard on her trembling lip, the metallic taste of blood mixing with the salt of her tears. Her phone slipped in her hand, nearly falling down onto the tile floor, but she caught it at the last second and clutched it like it was the only thing tethering her to earth. They left her. They really left her. And all because she'd let the mask slip for just a second. From that day on, she promised herself something. A rule she wouldn't break again. Nobody ever needed to see this side of her. Ever. Those girls are going to hell. I don't care that they're in high school. I don't care that they're kids. Fuck them. The angry sibling. Where are Miro when we to everyone saying they're experiencing or have experienced what happened to Zoe. In this fic, I hope you're doing okay and that you found friends who truly care for you. Yes, same. Yeah. If you are going through this right now, or if you have been through this, there are people in the world who will actually like you for who you are. And you just have to remind yourself that. You just have to remind yourself that no one's really like you and your own person, and you shouldn't fall for herd mentality. I'm definitely going to beat those teenagers. I just got here because I had work. What are we reading? We are reading chapter 32 of Two's Company, But They Want a Crowd. Also totally caught them lying about their phones being dead. I've seen that one before. Of course. Artie, no straws. What? It's a metal straw. We're protecting the turtles. This is, like pomegranate juice and vodka kind of mixed together. No, the wisdom teeth. Oh, is it bad? No, the suction, your stitches. Haha, they meant your stitches, I think. Y'all, I don't know this wisdom teeth shit. My doctor said nothing about that. Straws are very bad for mouth wounds. I didn't know that. I guess talking is also bad. But I'm doing it anyway. You can pop the stitches. Sorry, y'all, I'm dumb. I'm stupid. No, I genuinely, like... I don't know. I probably should have looked it up. But thanks for watching out for me. I appreciate it. I do. I'm just like, if my doctor didn't warn me about it, then it's fine. No, girl, we got you. I'll take it out. The mom in me popped out. Oh my god. No, I get that. It also happens to me. It wasn't much anyway. And it's a little cold. Where are the bricks for these girls when we need... Who needs Google when you have TikTok chat? No, who needs ChatGPT when you have TikTok chat? I'm still loud and proud, never used ChatGPT in my life. Because fuck that. What are you drinking? Looks good. It was like pomegranate juice mixed with vodka. It was like this little cocktail that my mom made. And like texted me during live, and I was like, ooh. Like she was like, oh, do you want some? And I was like, oh, yes, please. AI haters over here. Woo! I'm scared of ChatGPT. No, me too. AI could never give you this much chaos. True. True. AI will never take over because they can't replicate the chaos. I'm back and ouch. Our phones are all dead. BS. Yeah. Yeah. She's gonna be fine. She's gonna have 2 great girlfriends. She's gonna be fine. But I guess we have to go through this first. Do you want to keep going? Bobby asked gently, glancing at the clock before looking back at her. This is one of our longer sessions, but there's still time if you want to use it. Zoe hesitated for a beat, then nodded, letting out a quiet sigh. Yeah, she murmured, twirling the pencil between her fingers. I found my people eventually, here in Seoul, freshman year of college. Woo! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby! Her lips curved into a small smile as she glanced down at the sketch pad resting on her lap, where random lines and shapes had taken over the margins. I could finally tell little me that I did, she said softly, that she wasn't going to be alone forever. Bobby hummed thoughtfully, giving her the space to sit with that for a moment before asking, and your first girlfriend? She's part of that, right? How does she make you feel different from everyone before? Zoe stilled, the question lingering. Her thumb automatically went to twist the small turtle ring she used to wear, and then she remembered it wasn't there anymore. Oh no, we did like a time skip. Okay, we're now like in the current time. Fuck. Great. Fuck. Awesome. Yeah. The absence hit heavier than she expected, and for a second, guilt curled low in her stomach. Still, she nodded faintly. Yeah, she said, voice quiet but steady. She showed me that there are people out there who could love me, just for being me. Bobby's expression softened. What made you feel that way? Was it something she said? Or did? Zoe thought about it for a long moment, her pencil absently scratching against the page as she doodled without thinking, until she realized she was sketching Mira's outline again, the slope of her jaw, the shape of her eyes. It was the little things, she admitted, her voice dropping almost to a whisper. But there is one moment I still hold close. It was the first time I felt really heard, seen even. She smiled faintly, though there was a quiet ache behind it. I think that's when I realized I was in love with her. I'm so excited. Zomira backstory, let's go. I'm so excited. No, we are not children of divorce. They are not broken up. They are not broken up. They're just taking a break. The last chapter literally ended with them saying that they love each other. They are not broken up. They're not broken up. Anytime I'm sad in this fic, I think about when Zoe kept accidentally drawing Rumi real as fuck. Anyways, I was just gonna say, in my last therapy session, I actually did bring up If It's Nice, Do It Thrice, because it has like therapy is very like front and center, and If It's Nice, Do It Thrice, like there's a lot of focus on that. I guess now I have to bring this one up. I mean, I've already brought up in therapy that I read fanfictional. It's just something else to talk about. Miu and K-pop Demon Hunters Part 2 Zomira backstory. I am so excited for their backstories in the sequel because they're definitely doing backstories. They definitely are. I need backstories and I need more Sunlight Sisters. That's what I need. That's what I need. I'm already delulu about my height. About my height won't hurt to have some more delusion. Real. They're fine. I scream as they drag me away. No, guys. They are literally fine. Like, Toss did tweet once being like, oh, should I actually make them break up? And I didn't respond there, but I'm responding here. Toss, no. No breaking up. No. No. I know that if they break up, it will only be like Mira breaking up with the two of them. No, I know. Okay, good. Okay, good. Because I can't take that. Me recreating my TikTok right here, right now, where I was like, if I see y'all try to break up all my girls again, I see yourself. That's exactly what I was talking about. No, because toss. Don't take this seriously, by the way. Do whatever you want, but don't break them up. Please don't break them up. My heart can't take it. Loki, that hurt Zoe because she'd been with Mira for so long. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. They're literally gonna be fine. They're literally gonna be fine. Okay. Sorry, I think I tasted blood for a second. It's fine. It's not hurting too much. We're good. We're good, chat. It happens. Freshman year, late afternoon. The sun was dipping low, washing the campus streets in warm shades of orange and honeyed pink. The air smelled faintly of broth and chili paste as they walked back from their tiny ramyeon shop tucked between two convenience stores. Zoe was stuffed beyond reason, her stomach protesting with every step. She let out a groan, pressing a hand under her ribs. I swear I'm gonna explode, she whined dramatically, drawing out the last word for effect. Beside her, Mira didn't even look up from the bag of snacks she was carrying, just gave a quiet snort. I told you not to eat 7 bowls when you know your limit's 5. 7 bowls of ramen is crazy, girl. Come on. Zoe shot her a look, pouting. Yeah, but they had good flavors this time, she argued, throwing her free hand up. And you were stealing bites of mine anyway, so don't act innocent. Mira arched an eyebrow, unbothered as ever. She hummed. Still, not the one who looks like they're a button away from a full wardrobe malfunction. Zoe gasped, pressing a hand over her chest like she'd been mortally wounded. Wow, you're actually so mean to me, she huffed, pumping her shoulder into Mira's lightly. You guys are so mean to me all the time. Oh, that earned her something rare, a low, quiet chuckle, warm and soft. Zoe's stomach flipped in a way that had nothing to do with overeating. God, she loved that laugh. She'd never tell Mira that, of course. She'd just file it away with all the other things she secretly adored. The way Mira's voice softened when she was tired, the way her brows furrowed when she concentrated, the way her smile reached her eyes if you were lucky enough to catch it. And she was catching it more lately. Mira bumped her back, this time intentionally, the corners of her lips tilting up. I'm not. She murmured. Wait, I'm not, she murmured, her voice lighter than usual. Sometimes I can't connect what it's a response to. This is a response to Zoe being like, you're so mean to me. Okay. Zoe couldn't stop her own smile from pulling wider, cheeks warming despite that cool breeze. It was stupid, really. It was just Mira smiling. But something about it, the crinkle of her eyes, the unguarded ease of it, made Zoe's chest feel full in a way she didn't have words for yet. This is the unchanging Polaris all over again. Girl, get a hint! Girl, get a hint! Am I gonna start ranting about how everyone is in love with their friends all over again? I am also like, I'm gonna make a highlight video of that because that was a long conversation, but anyways, girl, get a hint! It made Mira look softer. Cute, even. Zoe shook her head lightly and stared down at the pavement, pretending her cheeks weren't warm. You're evil, she muttered, aiming for annoyance but failing. Her voice came out too soft. Mira just hummed in response, the sound low and lazy, as she uncapped her water bottle and took a sip. Her throat bobbed as she swallowed, and Zoe had to look away, fiddling with the hem of her hoodie before blurting the first thought that came to her head. Have you ever been pregnant with a food baby? That's such a funny... Okay. Mira choked immediately. She started coughing violently, pounding at her own chest while glaring at Zoe like she just committed a crime. Zoe gasped dramatically, reaching out to pat Mira's back with mock concern. It's a phenomenon, I know, she said solemnly, fighting back a giggle. Mira wheezed out a breath. What the hell, Zoe? Zoe blinked innocently. What? It was a simple question. She rubbed her own stomach exaggeratedly. You've seriously never had a food baby before? She's so funny. Okay. Chill. I shouldn't laugh this much. I really shouldn't. But I think we're good. Should I get an ice pack? I don't know. No, chill. But they're so funny. Ice it, girl. Would y'all be mad if I went and got an ice pack right now? Ice, no. Okay, just because I'm a little worried. Okay, Christina, got it. Okay, chat amongst yourselves. Oh my god. I just noticed how hot this room is compared to the rest of the apartment. And this isn't cold at all. Okay, Okay, you seriously never had a food baby before? Mira stared at her flatly, like she couldn't believe this was an actual conversation. No. Zoe grinned, leaning closer, her voice dropping like she was sharing a secret. You probably did and just didn't realize it. Happens to the best of us. She gave her belly a gentle pat, sighing dramatically. Pretty sure I'm due in like 30 minutes. It took Mira a second to process, and when she finally did, her face scrunched up in disbelief before she shoved Zoe's shoulder lightly. You're so gross. Not gross, Zoe said quickly, gasping as if personally offended. It's a natural process. Everybody does it. She sidestepped so their shoulders brushed deliberately, grinning when Mira huffed and shifted away. Walk straight, Mira muttered, annoyance dripping from her tone. Zoe shot her a sideways glance, smirk tugging at her lips. I don't think either of us can, especially not you. That made Mira stop mid-step. Don't laugh. That's really good. Shh, don't laugh. That made Mira stop mid-step, confusion flashing across her face before realization hit. She blinked, her jaw going slack. Was that supposed to be a lesbian joke? Zoe shrugged innocently. Huh? Me? I never. Uh-huh, Mira deadpanned, shaking her head, though Zoe caught the faintest twitch at the corner of her lips. They're literally flirting. Like, this is flirting. Zoe, which I've gone on a rant before. I think friends can flirt, but like, girl, come on. Girl. Zoe, sensing weakness, grinned wider and tugged up the hem of her hoodie to peek at her stomach. Wanna feel the food, baby, Mir? For a fraction of a second, Mira actually looked, and Zoe didn't miss the quick dart of her gaze before she whipped her head away, ears flushing pink. Put your shirt down, psycho. Zoe laughed, a bright, airy sound she couldn't hold back. She leaned in, inching closer deliberately. What? It's just my belly. I'm not flashing you or anything. Not yet, that is. I can't help it. I can't help it. They're so silly. Mira groaned loudly, tilting her head back towards the sky like she was begging some higher power for patience. Please. Zoe giggled under her breath and edged closer again until Mira noticed and bolted. Get away from me! Not until you touch my belly! Zoe yelled, chasing after her with a wide grin. You're insane! Mira shouted back, weaving between parked bikes like her life depended on it. Zoe's lungs were burning, but the laughter spilling out of her kept her running. God, Mira was fast when she wanted to be. Her hair swung behind her, loose strands framing her face, and Zoe caught herself noticing how pretty she looked when she ran. She quickly shoved the thought away. Focus, Zoe. Belly touch revenge first, identity crisis later. You have to! Zoe called after her between breathless laughs. I don't have to do anything, Mira countered, darting around a corner toward a small park. Especially not touching your stupid stomach. By the time they reached the path near a row of benches, Mira slowed down, panting hard. Hands braced against her knees, she huffed out. Okay, I'm done. Them 5 bowls are hitting. Zoe jogged up behind her, still laughing. Guess that food baby's catching up to you too, huh? And then her sneaker caught on something. Zoe, wait! Mira reached out instinctively to grab her, but the momentum betrayed them both. Are they gonna do the... They're literally doing the animator where they fall on each other. They went down together with a soft thud, tangled on the patchy grass, wheezing and breathless. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then, slowly, laughter bubbled up from Zoe's chest until she was shaking, gasping for air. Beside her, Mira buried her face in her hands, but couldn't hold back either, muffling her own laugh as her shoulders trembled. It was ridiculous. It was stupid. And Zoe couldn't remember the last time she'd felt so light. She turned her head slightly, just enough to see Mira's profile as she laughed, strands of hair sticking to her flushed cheeks, sunlight catching in her lashes. God, she was beautiful. Zoe swallowed hard and looked back up at the sky, pretending she wasn't thinking that. Mira pulled herself first, brushing stray grass off her shorts before leaning over Zoe with a stupid grin plastered on her face. You okay? Zoe blinked up at her, dazed for a moment, her heart pounding so loudly it almost drowned out the question. Her brain screamed, "Say something normal!" But all she managed was a small nod. All good. Mira arched a brow, skeptical, but letting it slide, and settled back onto the grass beside her without a word. Her pink hair fell forward like a veil, catching the fading sunlight in strands of soft rose and gold. There was a stillness between them, filled only by the faint rush of wind through the trees, and the sound of their uneven breathing. Zoe swallowed, cheeks warming under Mira's gaze. Or maybe Mira wasn't even looking at her, but it felt like she was, and that was somehow worse. She blurted out the first thing her panicked brain threw at her. "You saved my baby too." Mira blinked at her. "Seriously?" "My food, baby!" Zoe rubbed her stomach dramatically like she was cradling something precious. Mira groaned, dragging a hand down her face before sitting up. "You're so fucking weird, dude." But then, with an exasperated sigh, she extended her hand anyway. "Fine. Where's the baby?" Zoe grinned triumphantly and guided Mira's hand to her stomach, pressing it gently against the soft curve beneath her shirt. "Right here. Be gentle." Mira blinked a few times, clearly fighting to keep a straight face. Her ears were faintly pink, and Zoe tried really, really hard not to notice. But her brain helpfully screamed, "You noticed anyway!" "You feel the baby kicking?" Zoe whispered like they were sharing a sacred moment. "They are. They are." Mira shot her a look like she'd finally lost it. But then something shifted beneath her palm. Mira jerked back like she'd been burned. "What the fuck was that?" Mira scrambled backward, wiping her hand on her shorts like it had betrayed her. Zoe burst into uncontrollable laughter, clutching her sides as tears gathered in her eyes. "Probably my food digesting, I don't know." Mira stared for a second before she cracked too, tipping her head back and laughing until she was wiping tears from her lashes. "I swear there's something deeply wrong with you." "Thanks," Zoe managed between laughs. "I take pride in my condition. Period. We call that character growth. Period." Mira shook her head, running a hand through her hair as the last traces of laughter faded into soft chuckles. Her smile lingered, smaller now, quieter. "Don't ever change, please," she muttered, almost too casually. Oh my god. It sucks that I can't open my mouth. But oh my god, they're so cute. Hi, Reef. They're so sweet. Oh. Zoe froze, laughter dying in her throat. Her chest did this weird, fluttery thing, like her ribcage couldn't quite contain it. She stared at Mira, memorizing the curve of her grin, the way the sunlight caught in her lashes, the little crinkle by her nose when she smiled for real. "I never laughed this much with someone before," Mira said softly, wiping her eyes again. "So, feel special." "I'll make you feel special." They're so sweet. Zoe blinked, her brain short-circuiting before her mouth finally caught up. "I am special." Mira snorted, shaking her head. "Yeah, I think we all know that by now." Not what I meant, jerk." Zoe swatted her shoulder lightly, but there was no heat behind it. She grinned despite herself, but inside, her chest still buzzed in this strange, warm way she couldn't name. That's when she noticed where they were. The playground stretched out around them, the air smelling faintly of grass and sun-warmed plastic. Her eyes lit up. "Park!" Zoe shot up, brushing herself off before bolting towards the swings like an overexcited kid. "Dibs!" Mira trailed after her with far less urgency, sitting down on the swing beside her. Neither of them swung much at first, just rocked gently back and forth, letting the chains creak softly in the late afternoon quiet. After a while, Zoe noticed Mira watching her. She stopped moving and squinted. "What?" Mira blinked like she'd been caught staring, immediately dropping her gaze to the dirt beneath her feet. Nothing. Zoe tilted her head, studying her profile. The pink of Mira's hair caught the dimming sunlight, making her look softer somehow, almost vulnerable. And, for some reason, that made Zoe want to tease her even more. "You want to hold my hand, don't you?" Zoe asked suddenly, breaking the silence. Mira's head snapped up, eyes wide. "What? No." Zoe hummed knowingly, leaning back and kicking her feet lazily. "You do. It's okay. Don't be shy about it." "I never said anything about that." Mira's voice was flat, but her ears betrayed her again, flushed just slightly pink. "You did, though," Zoe countered, eyes narrowing in mock suspicion. "I literally heard you muttering under your breath about how bad you want to hold my hand. You're not as slick as you think you are." Mira gaped at her. You're gaslighting me right now." "Believe what you want." Zoe huffed and held out her hand, palm up. Just give me your hand." Mira stared for a beat like she was weighing her options. And then, without a word, she lifted her hand. Zoe smiled faintly and pressed her palm against Mira's, lining them up. Her breath caught a little when she noticed the contrast. Mira's hands were long and slender, the tips of her fingers peeking over Zoe's own. It felt intimate in a way Zoe wasn't ready to unpack yet. So she did what she always did when she felt too big. She distracted herself. She scooted her swing a little closer, planting her feet firmly on the ground so she wouldn't drift away. Then, carefully, she took both of Mira's hands in her own and ran her thumbs gently over her knuckles. "So soft," Zoe muttered under her breath, like an observation she hadn't meant to say out loud. Mira's jaw shifted, just barely, like she was chewing on her response. She looked away, pretending to watch some distant tree swaying in the breeze. But Zoe didn't miss the faint flush creeping up Mira's cheeks. "My hands get dry sometimes," Mira said, finally, voice low, almost defensive. "So I have to moisturize." Zoe grinned, soft and amused. "Aw, that's adorable." That earned her a sharp look, cheeks now definitely pink. "How is that adorable? It's normal." "Well, yeah," Zoe said, shrugging lightly. "But you doing it makes it adorable. Everything's a little different when it's you." They're so in love. I need to stop. Don't make me laugh. The squeak, I'm crying. They do. Oh, guys. This chair won't be with me in a week. This chair won't be with me anymore. Oh. Now keep the ice there. Okay, Mom. Everyone, please, let's have a moment of silence, for the, oh my god. Gel artık bir bölüm. No! My mom is trying to call me back. Because it's been 2 hours. Put the chair on the bag. Guys, I don't have enough space for that. Let's just, give her a little moment of silence. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your, for your emotional support. My little chair. Oh, I'll miss her. But I have like another spinny chair that doesn't squeak, so she's gonna be replaced. But I'll keep spinning, and I might even do a full 360. Haha, did she get called? R.I.P. Artie's gums. Not like half the chat saying hi and me having to disappear immediately. Sorry. Reef, you're so funny. chair has been here with us through it all. The chair is literally famous. The chair got like 36,000 views on TikTok. She is famous. She is great, and I love her, and she has no name. She's just the chair. I come here for the chair, duh. Well, damn, I guess you hate me. Hair carries memories. Wait, this is too good. Hair carries memories, but what about the chair? Well, I'll go back to my original chair that I've had for a year. No chair, no arty. Jokes. Anyways, she has been of service, and she'll feature in like a couple of lives before I get on the plane. Yeah, she will be missed. She will be missed. Okay. Okay. Okay, the way we got here was because Zoe said everything's a little different when it's you, which is the cutest little thing you could ever say. Mira didn't respond to that, at least not out loud. Her gaze dropped to their joined hands, and Zoe swore she saw the faintest twitch at the corner of her lips before Mira quickly looked straight ahead again. Zoe hummed to herself, intertwining their fingers almost absent-mindedly, like her body had decided for her. Mira blinked at the motion, but didn't pull away. After a few seconds, Zoe let their hands fall to rest between the swings, giving them a gentle sway as she rocked back and forth. It was quiet, too quiet, the kind that made her thoughts louder. "Your hands are sweating," Zoe murmured eventually, glancing sideways at Mira. Mira stiffened, face going even redder. "Sorry," she mumbled, clearing her throat. "Can't help it." Zoe smiled at that, soft and a little crooked, and gave her hand a small squeeze. Mira hesitated, then squeezed back. That tiny gesture hit Zoe harder than she expected. Something about it felt grounding, anchoring her in this small, strange bubble they'd made together. She found herself studying Mira without meaning to, letting her gaze linger. The way Mira's hair blew gently in the wind. A few stray strands. Whenever I have to read stray strands, my brain does like a backflip. Stray strands falling into her face as she brushed them aside with her free hand, even though the one Zoe was holding was closer. The way the sunlight broke through the trees, painting her profile in soft gold and smoothing out the sharp edges of her features. The way Mira bit the inside of her cheek as she risked a glance at their joined hands before looking away quickly, like she thought Zoe wouldn't notice. Zoe's heart started picking up again, warm and heavy and gooey in her chest. Lately, it happened a lot around Mira. It was ridiculous, stupid, and yet she didn't want it to stop. Mira must have felt her staring because she turned, brow arched. "What?" Zoe blinked, caught red-handed, and covered it with a laugh. "Nothing." A beat passed. Then, just to change the subject, she blurted, "Let me try on your glasses." Mira blinked at her, confused but didn't argue. With her free hand, she slipped the frames off and handed them over without hesitation. Zoe released their joined hand to take them, sliding them onto her face with exaggerated care. "No, not over yet. No, daha bitmedi. Daha bitmedi. Geleceğim etince." I need to lock my door. My mom and I are watching a TV show together, and she's like, "Come over, let's watch another episode." And I'm like, "No, it's not over." Oh, what are you guys saying? Okay, but someone did this on me and it worked. What are you guys talking about? Somehow hearing Artie read these chapters makes it more real in my head. My imagination is good, but when Artie reads it, it becomes so much better somehow. Thank you. That's the mission. Can't steal Artie yet. What our favorite lesbian show is on right now. It is. This is just a longer episode than I usually do. Like, the longest episode I've done was 20,000 words, and it was the last the Unchanged Polaris episode chapter. My brain is mixed up, and it was the last Unchanging Polaris chapter that I read, which was 20,000 words, and I think this is like 17,000 words, so it's long, and thus it's going to be a longer live than usual. No oranges for Reef, and also muted the live because of work, and I'm sad about it. That chapter was long. The New York chapter was long, but it was really, really fun. They are so dumb. They're so dumb and stupid, and and so in love. Anyway, we're back to Two's Company now. Okay. Whoa, she whispered dramatically. Everything's like zoomed in, but also blurry. How do you see with these? She glanced over at Mira, expecting a reaction, and burst out laughing when she saw her squinting hard in her direction. You're just blurry, Mira deadpanned. Zoe snorted and slid the glasses back off, handing them back while giggling. You look like those anime panels I've seen. Real. Real. Mira slid her glasses back on, brows furrowing. What? You know, Zoe said, leaning forward like she was letting her in on a secret. When they draw a character super tired and their eyes get replaced by like two little butts. Total lie. That wasn't what I imagined, but okay. Okay. Mira stared at her flatly. No, I don't think what you're talking about. I don't think I know what you're talking about. Zoe groaned and yanked out her phone. Hold on, it's like when they make the little threes for eyes, like they're squinting. It kind of reminds me of that one anime I watched when she stopped herself mid-sentence, words dying in her throat. Don't overshare. No, Zoe, I thought we had character growth. I thought we were over that shit. It's okay. It's a struggle. I don't blame her. Zoe quickly shook her head, forcing a small laugh. Sorry, I'm rambling again, she muttered, tucking her phone back into her pocket. There was a pause before she heard Mira suck her teeth. Zoe glanced up, confused. I hate when you do that, Mira said flatly, leaning back on her swing a little. Zoe blinked at her. Do what? When you're about to tell me something and then stop yourself? Mira huffed, kicking at the dirt with the toe of her shoe. Her voice was calm, but there was an edge there, like this wasn't the first time she'd noticed. I hate it. Why do you do it? Zoe froze for a beat, staring at her. She knew exactly why she did it, but how was she supposed to explain that out loud? Every time she wanted to share too much, she bit her tongue because she didn't want to scare Mira off, because she didn't want Mira to think she was too much. Zoe dropped her gaze to the ground, fiddling with the edge of her hoodie. I don't know, she mumbled, trying to play it off. But Mira kept watching her, waiting. And before Zoe knew it, the words started spilling out anyway. I stopped myself because I get annoying when I don't shut up. So, yeah. She forced out a laugh that sounded thinner than she meant it to. You're not annoying. Zoe's head snapped up, startled by how fast Mira said it. Her tone was sharp, almost offended by the idea. Zoe blinked. Huh? I said you're not annoying, Mira repeated firmly, her brows slightly furrowed. Not to me. Zoe just stared at her, caught completely off guard. Mira shifted a little, her swing rocking forward and back. She looked away, eyes trained on the ground as her grip tightened around the chains. So, Don't do that with me, she muttered, almost under her breath. Don't shut yourself down. This reminds me of, like, my friends and I so much. I have, well, like, my best friend who is not here because he doesn't go on TikTok. Like, my best friend keeps being like, oh my god, I feel so awkward when I talk about the things that I like, and, like, you guys have to listen. I feel like I'm forcing you guys to listen. No! We want you to talk. We want you to share your interests with us. That's our love language. We share our interests with each other. Like, you listen to me when I ramble about K-pop Demon Hunters and Polytrix, and I listen to you when you ramble about Yakuza. Like, also, like, I need to play Yakuza. That's off topic, but, like, girl, come on. Ice, if you're gonna yell. Ice, ice, baby. The chat is filled with moms. Okay, I'm good. If you can rant/vent to your friends, are you really friends? Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have been very sharp with him before, being like, dude, like, stop saying that. Like, we like hearing you. But I need to be like Mira, and I need to be like, you are not annoying. Please stop saying that. Like, I like hearing you listen. I've said that multiple times. Like, he knows, but it's the little voice in your head that keeps talking. Artie, I'd be a bad queer platonic babe if I didn't give you a nice reminder. Reef just wants those fics to be written. Reef is egging on the queer platonic ship. I enjoy learning about things, so of course I want to hear my friends ramble. Exactly. I love my friends, man. I gotta call them after this live. Me too, girl. I forget to call people so often. I mean, like, we message and stuff, but, like, I should call. New ship. Sorry. Like, Artie, don't make me laugh. Goddamn. Ice Pack X Artie OTP. I'm Mira to my friends, but kind of Zoe when it's about me. I take both sides. Like I said, all the girls, like, represent a different facet of me. I've said this before. I am Rumi Sun, Mira Moon, Zoe Rising. I've said this before. That is how I classify myself. That's how it is in my head. But yeah, I have been a Mira, I have been a Zoe, and I'm most definitely a Rumi. With love, silence, and ice for the rest of the day, Artie. Yeah. You guys are gonna make me laugh. I'm like reading the ship comments. Tossed ice pack, queer platonic tree. LMAO, I'm Mira-san. Real. You guys are so funny. This is a long chapter. Art tossed pack. New polyship. Reef sparkling wine. Shut up. Shut up, you guys are too funny. BRB gotta go right. I am not looking at the chat anymore. I'm gonna keep reading. I'll just keep laughing. Okay. Zoe blinked, lips parting, but before she could speak, Mira kept going. Like, if she stopped now, she'd lose her nerve. I like hearing your rambles, Mira admitted, quieter this time. Her voice had softened in a way Zoe wasn't used to hearing. All your tangents and stupid little facts. It's like she hesitated, exhaling through her nose. It's like getting to peek inside someone's brain for a minute, and She trailed off, swallowing hard. I think your brain is cool. Mira muttered finally, words rushed and clumsy, like she was forcing them past a wall she'd built. Cool enough that I want to know more of it. She shot Zoe a quick glance. Nor! Nor! Anne no! Anne bitirmem lazım. Hı? Efendim? Efendim? I didn't hear what she said. I think your brain is cool, Mira muttered finally, words rushed and clumsy. Yeah. She shot Zoe a quick glance, just long enough to see her reaction, but Zoe was frozen, wide-eyed, completely silent. Mira flushed immediately, whipping her head back around and kicking a pebble with more force than necessary. Not in, like, a weird way or anything, just... forget I said that. She huffed, jaw tight and ears pink. Guys, Mira... Awkward Mira is my favorite. Awkward Mira is so cute. Oh my god, guys. I think the ice pack is enough for now. I'm rad. Turkish. Yeah, it's Turkish. Söyle 3 gün yok. No! My mom just texted me being like, no more live streaming for 3 more days. 2 saat oldu, söyle 3 gün. My mom really wants to watch that damn show. It's a good show. It's a good show. Bavulunu yapacağız. Shit bakımı every time. No. My mom is being a mom. Give me a second. Anne, yorum yap. No, like she's trying to be responsible and I'm like, I want to do my little live stream. Live streaming from my DS since mom took my phone. I wish I had a DS. Artie is making me want to learn Turkish. Turkish is a very hard language to learn, I think. Like, if I wasn't a native speaker, I don't think, like, it's hard. It like, the suffixes get hard. Yo, we should, so we can joke with Artie. Just learn the basics, like, do a merhaba, like, do a teşekkürler. I'm back for a bit. Hi, Danny. Okay, anyways, I texted my mom. We keep going. Anyways, I love Awkward Mira. That was the last thing I said. But Zoe wasn't moving. She couldn't. Her brain had gone fuzzy and loud all at once, Mira's words looping on repeat like a broken record. I like hearing your rambles. I want to know more of your brain. You're not annoying. Her chest felt tight, warm in a way that made her stomach flip. She watched the way sunlight caught the pink strands in Mira's hair, how her lashes brushed against her cheeks when she glanced down, how her grip flexed nervously around the swing's chains. God, she was in love with her. Not just liked her, not just maybe liked her, loved her. Loved as in she wanted to kiss her until Mira laughed against her mouth. Loved as in she wanted to take her on stupid dates and buy her overpriced boba and hold her hand whenever Mira let her. Loved as in she wanted to stay next to her forever, even when she was being difficult or quiet or impossible to read. Zoe sucked in a sharp breath and slapped both hands over her mouth, trying to contain the sudden noise threatening to escape her. She shook her head frantically, her heart hammering so loudly she swore Mira could hear it. Because how was she supposed to look her in the eye now, knowing she'd just fallen all the way in? Zoe suddenly shot up. Suddenly shot up. You know what an earworm is? Mira went on, oblivious to Zoe's turmoil. It's kind of like that, but not in an annoying way. More like she hesitated, kicking lightly at the dirt. You just get stuck in my head sometimes. In a good way, if that makes sense. I'm screaming inside my head because I can't scream. She glanced up, half expecting Zoe to tease her for saying something so embarrassingly soft. But Zoe wasn't laughing. Zoe was just standing there, frozen. Zoe? Mira frowned slightly, tilting her head. You okay? Zoe didn't answer, not right away. She walked forward instead, slow and deliberate, until she was standing right in front of Mira's swing. Her hands reached out, almost instinctively, gripping the cold chains on either side of Mira's shoulders. Her heart was pounding so hard it was all she could hear, louder than the cicadas, louder than the wind rustling the trees. She stared right into Mira's eyes. Can I kiss you? Zoe asked softly. Mira blinked, caught off guard, her whole body stiffening for half a second. She straightened up immediately, glancing around like she needed to confirm they were actually alone. Yeah, sure. You can kiss me if you want to. She hesitated, biting her lip before adding, but can I ask why? Zoe inhaled shakily, her fingers tightening on the chains. Because I'm in love with you, she breathed out. I love confession scenes. I love them so much. Need a girl to ask me that. No, low-key. Need to be kissing girls right now. Oh, okay. Because I'm in love with you, she breathed out. And before Mira could even react, Zoe cupped her face and kissed her. Mira froze, shocked, startled, but only for a moment. Then she melted into it, lips soft and warm against Zoe's as her hand slipped from the chains and wrapped around Zoe's waist, pulling her closer like she'd been waiting for this without even knowing it. Zoe swore she could taste cherries, sweet, faint, clinging to Mira's lips from her balm. Everything about her was warm, her skin, her scent, her hands fisting into Zoe's hoodie like she didn't want her to ever leave. She didn't know how long they stood there tangled together, kissing under the fading gold of the afternoon. All she knew was that when she finally pulled back for air, her chest was heaving, her lips tingling, and Mira was looking at her with cheeks flushed deep pink and pupils blown a little. And the panic set in. And then panic set in. Oh my god, Zoe blurted, stepping back an inch and grabbing Mira's wrists like she was about to beg. I don't know if you even like me like that, and if you don't, it's fine, it's okay, really, we can just... She sucked in a frantic breath. We can pretend this never happened, but you can't actually pretend a kiss, right? Shit, fuck, what did I just... Mira kissed her again. No hesitation this time, no question. When she pulled away, Zoe was left stunned and slightly dazed, her lips parted, her brain completely short-circuiting. I think that should answer your question, Mira murmured, a small, shy smile tugging at the corner of her lips. Zoe blinked, once, twice. But what if you're just kissing me because... She asked weakly, like she needed the reassurance spelled out in neon lights. Mira let out a soft, incredulous snort, tugging Zoe closer by the hem of her hoodie. Her voice was barely above a whisper when she said it, but it hit Zoe like a punch to the ribs. I love you, Mira murmured carefully, in halting English, accent had... I can't breathe. Oh my god. 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 Zoe, don't pop your stitches, but exactly. I am so good. I am feeling so normal. I love you, Mira murmured carefully in halting English, accent heavy, testing the words like she wasn't sure they'd come out right. Her cheeks burned instantly. Do you understand now? Zoe froze. It took a beat for the meaning to sink in, like her brain didn't want to process it too fast in case it wasn't real. But then it clicked. Mira loved her. Mira loved her. Zoe's throat went tight, tears spilling before she even realized she was crying. Mira's brows furrowed immediately, hands hovering awkwardly by Zoe's face like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to touch her. Wait, what? Why are you crying? Did I say it wrong? She panicked, words tumbling fast. Did I mess it up? I'm still learning. Is that not how you say it in English? Did I just accidentally curse at you or something? Did I just accidentally curse at you or something? Zoe choked out a wet laugh, shaking her head furiously. No, you said it perfect, she hiccuped, swiping at her face uselessly. Then why are you crying? Mira demanded. A mix of confusion and helplessness painted all over her expression. Zoe sniffled, trembling a little as she tried to form words that kept knotting in her throat. And then, half laughing, half sobbing, she blurted out, Can you, actually propose to me right now? Okay. Mira blinked at her, completely thrown. What? But Zoe just buried her face into Mira's neck, clutching at her hoodie like she was holding on for dear life, sobbing quietly into her shoulder. She had never felt so loved before, and Mira held her tighter, like she wasn't letting go anytime soon. I just spent all my energy. I need to calm down. Oh my god. Rereading Two's Company is productive. I thought I was bisexual in middle school, then a girl handed me cheese. I'm sorry. That's really good, Reef. That's really good. Gay speedrunning 101. Fine, I'll read Two's Company instead of actually doing productive things. Oh, I see. If someone said I love you to me in Turkish when they were confessing. No! Wait. My mom just texted me being like, I'm starting the episode without you. That's so rough. You guys are getting lots of refloor. Better take notes for the refarty fix. My mom sent me a sticker. I've got class in 10 minutes. Save me, please. I'm so sorry. I read this as refarty. I'm so sorry. Guys, don't make me laugh. I mean, what did I expect? My partner and I both speak English, but because I speak Scottish slang, she accidentally swore at me without knowing, just repeating me. Your mother is going to hate us. Okay, I was nervous before, but I want to see where the fans take it. What heights can refarty reach? Yeah, same, actually. You guys do whatever you want. I do consider you a friend, by the way, Reeve. Like, we've we've been messaging every day. Like, Reef is bestie. But y'all do whatever you want. Okay. Zoe sighed as she finished, leaning back slightly in the chair. A small, unintentional smile tugged at her lips as she spoke again, softer this time. So, yeah, she murmured, exhaling slowly. She made me feel like me, if that makes sense. Artie's gonna scream at me later in the DMs for being a simp, but that's a later I'm not gonna scream at you. Girl, what? Oh, bye, Crow. These are so funny. I know a small amount of speaking words in other languages, so sometimes I mix things up. Worse is when you forget the word in your native language. Yes. Oh, yes. I forgot a word. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I was at a doctor's appointment yesterday and I forgot a word. And I'm not going to go into details, but it was a very funny situation. Not like angry scream. Maybe scream was the wrong word. I'm not going to scream at Yuri. She made me feel like me, if that makes sense. For a moment, Bobby didn't say anything. He just sat there, leaning slightly forward in his chair. Oh my god. I feel like I have to burp. Sorry, y'all. No, it didn't come. Okay. Hands loosely clasped. His warm, easy smile made it feel less like a therapy session and more like talking to someone who actually saw her. Finally, he nodded thoughtfully. It makes perfect sense, he said gently. It sounds like being around her lets you breathe a little easier, like you don't have to keep performing. Zoe blinked at that, fiddling with the edge of her sleeve. Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't have to be all the things everyone expects me to be. She hesitated, chewing her lip. She just likes me. Just me. That sounds really important, Bobby said, his voice steady but warm. Especially for someone like you, who spent a long time putting everyone else first. Zoe snorted lightly, not quite meeting his eyes. Wow, calling me out like that? Love that for me. That is me. That is me throughout this whole fic. Bobby chuckled, leaning back. Not a call out, just an observation. He paused, tilting his head slightly. It makes sense, you know, when you've grown up, shaping yourself around other people's needs. It can be disorienting when someone just likes you for existing. It feels almost unreal. Zoe's smile faltered just a little, her chest tightening at how accurately he pinned it down. Yeah, she whispered, almost to herself. Feels too good to be real sometimes. There was a beat of silence before Bobby spoke again, his tone softer this time. That's why we sit with it, so your brain has time to catch up and believe it. Zoe huffed a small laugh, shaking her head. You make it sound so simple. It's not simple, Bobby admitted, lips quirking up into a half smile. But you're doing it anyway. That earned a quiet snort from Zoe. Sorry, I keep feeling like I need to burp, but it doesn't. That earned a quiet snort from Zoe, and she finally looked up at him. You're actually not terrible to talk to, you know? She teased, though her tone was more sincere than sarcastic. Bobby raised a brow, feigning offense. Not terrible? I'm adding that to my business cards. Zoe laughed, the sound surprising even herself. It felt lighter than she expected. Go for it, Bobby Kim, licensed therapist. Not terrible to talk to. Bet that would get you clients. Hey, if it works, it works, he said with a small shrug, grinning now. She shook her head, still smiling faintly, and for the first time since starting therapy, she realized she wasn't counting down the minutes until it ended. Talking to him didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like digging through wounds she couldn't face. It felt safe. and weirdly kind of nice. Sorry to jump right back into it, but she's the one that. Bobby's voice was softer this time, cautious, like he was stepping into a room that needed gentleness. Zoe's grip on her pencil tightened until her knuckles ached. She didn't look up, just nodded once, biting down on the inside of her cheek. Yeah. She flipped her paper over on the clipboard and started drawing again, the tip of her pencil gliding in small, deliberate strokes. "Wanna talk more about it?" he asked, his tone careful but steady. Zoe hesitated for a beat, her breath catching slightly before she nodded. "Yeah, I need to," she murmured. The pencil moved faster, almost automatically now, sketching the faint outline of a street, dark, empty, familiar. Her hand trembled a little, but she didn't stop. "I think about that night a lot," she admitted quietly, swallowing hard. Her throat felt tight, like there was a weird pressing down on her chest. Without really thinking about it, she drew a small, curled-up figure on the sidewalk. Herself. It was just... She inhaled slowly, shakily. "Scary. For me." Her voice cracked on the last word, but she didn't pause. The pencil kept moving. She sketched out Mira next, laying beside the figure, eyes closed. The lines of Mira's jaw came out tense, sharp. Her hand clenched around the pencil, pressing harder against the paper as her breath grew uneven. "I still think about her blood on my hands," Zoe whispered, blinking rapidly. "I still think about if I was quicker, if I'd pressed harder, called for help sooner, kept her awake." Her voice cracked, and she gritted her teeth against the sob threatening to escape. None of this would have happened. Her strokes grew rougher now, faster, almost angry. She started sketching a cloaked figure in the background, its outline jagged and sharp, the shape of a scythe hidden in its shadow, a grim reaper, for the thing she felt hovering that night, just barely out of reach. Tears welled in her eyes, blurring the lines on the page. "I still remember how cold her skin got," she choked out, how her eyes fluttered closed like she was done, like... Her voice gave out, and she let out a sharp, broken sound, quickly wiping her face with the back of her sleeve. Her chest heaved unevenly, breath coming fast as she tried to ground herself. I sometimes think about what if she never woke up in the ambulance," Zoe whispered, her voice barely holding together. "Sometimes I dream about it. I wake up and I can't breathe. I'm convinced she's still gone." She broke off into a soft sob, her hand hovering uselessly over the paper as her tears splattered onto the sketch, smudging the lines. I used to lie awake most nights," she admitted hoarsely, "just making sure she was still breathing, watching her chest rise and fall, because I was scared that if I looked away for even a second, she'd..." Her words, oh my God. Her words trailed off, lost to the lump in her throat. Bobby finally spoke, his tone grounding, steady. "You went through something deeply traumatic, Zoe," he said softly, leaning forward slightly. "Your body remembers what your brain can't process all at once. These nightmares, the fear, the what-ifs, they're your mind's way of trying to make sense of what happened." Zoe sniffled, wiping her cheeks with her sleeve. "Oh my God." I don't know what's happening. Zoe sniffled, wiping her cheeks with her sleeve, her other hand still clutching the pencil like a lifeline. It's just a lot, she whispered, her leg bouncing restlessly. Bobby nodded slowly. It is a lot, and you carried it all by yourself. She let out a humorless laugh, shaking her head. Yeah, well, that's what I do, right? Just deal with it. Do they know? He asked gently after a moment. Mira or Rumi about these nightmares? Zoe's jaw tightened, and she shook her head almost instantly. No, I didn't. I couldn't. Mira was already dealing with her own nightmares and recovering from, being stabbed, and Rumi was already stressed out enough. I couldn't add to that. They had enough on their plates. So you bottled it up. She hesitated, then nodded slowly, guilt washing over her face. I didn't mean to. It was just automatic. I'm used to dealing with stuff myself, keeping it all in so I'm not a burden. She took a shaky breath. Especially back then, when none of us were sleeping. I felt like if I broke, everything would break with me. Bobby was quiet for a moment, letting the weight of her words settle before speaking. You protected them, but no one was protecting you, Zoe. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out. She stared at the sketch, the smudged pencil marks, the figure of herself on the sidewalk, and felt a lump form in her throat again. You deserved help that night too, he added gently. You deserved someone making sure you were breathing, making sure you were okay, but instead you went straight into survival mode. Zoe's voice cracked as she whispered, I didn't know how to do anything else. I know, Bobby said softly. You did what you had to do, and now, he gestured gently to the clipboard, to her. You're finally giving yourself permission to feel what you couldn't back then. Zoe swallowed hard, staring down at the drawing as fresh tears gathered in her lashes. It still hurts, she admitted, her voice breaking on the last word. And that's okay, Bobby murmured. Healing isn't about erasing the truth. It's about making room for it without letting it swallow you whole. For the first time in the session, Zoe met his gaze. Her shoulders slumped as if a fraction of the weight she'd been carrying finally loosened its grip. Yeah, she whispered, almost to herself. I think I get that. Bobby glanced at the clock, noting that their time was slipping away. His gaze softened when he turned back to her, lowering his voice just a little, like he didn't want the weight of his next words to hit too hard all at once. Before we wrap up, he began gently, I want you to remember something, Zoe. She wiped her eyes and looked at him. You don't have to keep carrying all of this by yourself, Bobby said, leaning forward slightly in his chair. I know it's automatic for you, pushing everything down, staying strong, making sure everyone else is okay first. He paused, watching her shoulders tense before softening his tone. But that comes at a cost, doesn't it? You end up with nowhere for all of that weight to go except right here. He gestured gently to his chest, where her heart rested protectively over her clipboard. Zoe swallowed hard, her throat tight. You've spent a long time, Bobby said carefully, making space for other people's feelings, sometimes at the expense of your own. She nodded slowly. My family is pressuring me to go back. Guys, not now. Guys, not now. Not now, please. Uzun bir bölüm. Is that the Polytrix Discord? What is that? Aşkım 3 saat dedin, saat 10 oldu. Yeah. Wait, can I copy that? How do I... I'm gonna take a screenshot because I can't. Okay. Are you even busy? Okay. Somebody has to, right? Bobby shook his head slowly. Not like this. Not in a way that costs you pieces of yourself. His voice softened, deliberate. Every word weighted with intention. You don't have to set yourself on fire just to keep everyone else warm, Zoe. You deserve warmth without burning yourself alive, too. You deserve care, and you're not going to get that if you keep pretending you don't see it. The words landed heavier than she expected. Something inside her chest twisted tight, sharp and aching, like he'd peeled back a layer she hadn't even realized she was protecting. She blinked quickly, willing the tears not to fall this time, and stared down at her paper as if the faint pencil lines were suddenly the most fascinating thing in the world. I know, she said eventually, so softly it was almost swallowed by the quiet. My God. Lidya bölüm bitmedi abi. Pardon, caps lock'ta kalmış. I know, she said eventually, so softly it was almost swallowed by the quiet. But even to her own ears, it sounded more like something she was trying to believe than something she actually did. Bobby didn't call her on it. He never did. He just let the silence hold for a moment before speaking again, his tone steady and grounding. Knowing it and believing it are two different things, he said gently. So we start small. Zoe's thumb worried against the spiral of her notebook, the metal biting faintly into her skin. I'm not saying you have to tell Mira and Rumi every thought in your head tomorrow, Bobby continued, voice low and even. But let yourself have an outlet. Give yourself permission to put it somewhere instead of locking it up. Bottled feelings don't disappear, Zoe. They just find another way out. Panic attacks, exhaustion, guilt that eats at you. Her chest tightened at that, because she knew he was right, and the truth of it stung. He leaned back slightly, ticking off suggestions on his fingers in an easy, unthreatening rhythm, like he was laying out options instead of giving instructions. Try journaling when your chest gets tight, or sketching like you're doing now. That's already a start. Try talking to someone you trust, even if it's just one thing, even if it feels small. You'd be surprised how much lighter things feel when you're not carrying them alone. Zoe chewed on her lip, staring at the smudges on the corner of her sketch. Start by noticing, too, Bobby added gently. Catch yourself in the act. Every time you swallow something you want to say, or cut yourself off mid-story because you think you're being too much, just notice when you do it. That's step one. Then, if you can, take a step back and ask yourself if keeping it in is really worth it in that moment. She nodded faintly, twirling her pencil between her fingers. I think I can try to do that. Bobby smiled, warm and knowing. Oh, I know you definitely can. Your voice matters. Your feelings matter. You don't have to earn the right to take up space with them, especially not with the people who love you. Her chest ached at that, sharp and warm and overwhelming all at once. She kept her gaze stubbornly on her lap, as though looking at him might make the knot in her throat worse. Bobby didn't press. He just let the silence breathe between them, calm and patient. Finally, he spoke, quiet but certain. Start small, Zoe, he said. The first step always seems like the scariest, but it's not. Something in her chest loosened at that, slow, tentative, like the first breath after holding it too long. It wasn't much, but it was enough to make her believe. A breath of fresh air. Maybe she didn't have to carry everything alone. Zoe nodded slowly, wiping at the corner of her eye with the back of her sleeve. Bobby glanced at the clock again, sighed softly, his voice low when he spoke. Looks like that's all we have time for today. She didn't answer right away, just slipped the pencil and clipboard back onto the small table, carefully pulling the sketch free before tucking it into her bag. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Bobby standing, collecting his notes and sliding them into his folder. Her throat felt tight again, the weight of everything they just talked about lingering like humidity in the air. Is it okay if I give you a hug? Zoe asked softly, almost like she was afraid she wasn't allowed. Bobby paused, then smiled warmly, his expression softening instantly. He set his folder down and opened his arms without hesitation. Of course, he said gently. Come here. Zoe hesitated for only a moment before stepping forward, curling into the embrace. His hug was steady, grounding in a way she didn't realize she'd needed until she was in it. Not too tight, not too loose, just safe. And for the first time in a while, she let herself breathe. She held on for a second longer than she meant to before pulling back, wiping at her face quickly with the sleeve of her hoodie, as if to hide the evidence. Thank you, she murmured, her voice soft but sincere. Bobby shook his head slightly, offering her a reassuring smile. You don't need to thank me, Zoe, he said, his tone gentle but firm. You're doing the hard part. I'm just here to help you carry it. Something about the words lodged in her chest, leaving her quiet, but in a good way. She nodded once more, holding his gaze just long enough to let him know she heard him before she turned back to her bag, taking another slow, steadying breath. I'm thinking to myself if I want to leave the rest of the chapter for next time, because my family is pissed, y'all. This is sad because I know the next part is the fun part. Yeah. I don't think I can skip. Yeah. Okay. This is a good stopping point. Yeah. I guess we'll meet Mystery next time. I'm just gonna turn off the live. Thank you, everyone. Bye. I will ice. Thank you.